The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across our suburban home. It was a place that once radiated warmth, filled with shared dreams, but now it felt eerily still, as though even the walls could sense that something had changed forever. At first, everything between James and me seemed perfect, like a scene straight out of a romantic comedy. But over time, I began to feel restless. Our marriage, once full of love and adventure, had become suffocating. There was something missing, something I couldn't quite define. It all started one evening after dinner. We were sitting together on the couch, glasses of wine in hand. Nervously, I broached the subject, uncertain of how he would react. "James," I began, my voice wavering, "what would you think about us opening up our relationship?" For a moment he was silent, his brow furrowing. I could see that my words had caught him off guard. After a beat, he leaned back into the couch, sighing softly. "I trust you," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "If that's what you want, I'll try." A wave of relief washed over me. I believed that this could bring us closer, that it might fill the growing emptiness between us. James, my sweet and conventional husband, had always been so eager to please. He had agreed to give me the freedom I sought, but little did I know that in doing so, he would end up taking everything away. In the weeks that followed, I threw myself into this new world. I met new people, went on dates with strangers, and reveled in the excitement of it all. For the first time in years, I felt truly alive. The boundaries of our marriage had blurred, and I was free. But James, he withdrew. The smile that used to greet me when I came home each evening faded into a distant look, as though he was no longer truly present in our life together. Then one night, I came home late after seeing someone new. The house was dark, and as I stepped inside, something felt off. Tension hung in the air, an unspoken understanding that didn't need to be verbalized. I called out for James, but there was no response. I went to the bedroom, expecting to find him asleep, but instead, I found an empty bed. I froze, my heart racing. The door to his office was ajar, and I could see the faint glow of his laptop screen. I walked toward it, half expecting to find him working late. But as I peered over his shoulder, I saw something that made my stomach drop. There, on the screen, was a message. Not just any message, but one that shattered everything I thought I knew. "I'm done, Lily. I need to find myself again. I can't keep living in your shadow." James had left without a word, without a trace. He was gone. Days passed in a blur. I tried calling and texting him, but there was no answer. It was as if he had disappeared into thin air. All that remained was his empty chair at the dinner table and the haunting echo of his absence. How could he do this to me? After everything, after letting me explore, he just vanished. I spiraled into confusion and fear. Was it my fault? Had I pushed him too far with my own desires? Then one day, I found it. His suitcase was gone, tucked away in the back of the closet. It was a small thing, but it spoke volumes. James hadn't just left. He had planned this. He had been preparing for this moment all along. Before I even realized that James was unhappy, I had already reached a breaking point. In my desperation, I did something I promised myself I would never do. I went through his personal belongings. That's when I discovered the letters. Several of them had been carefully hidden beneath the drawer of his desk. They were words he had written in the weeks leading up to his departure. Each one conveyed doubt, frustration, and a deep loneliness he had never shared with me. I never imagined this would be my life. One letter began, "I wanted us to be happy, but I can't keep pretending. I need to be free." The sting of betrayal hit harder than I ever anticipated. James had given me permission to explore my desires, yet in doing so, he had quietly planned his escape. He allowed me to bend the rules of our marriage, only to break them himself in the most painful way imaginable. The days that followed blurred into a haze of tears and frustration. I craved answers, but James remained silent. It was as if he had abandoned me without leaving any closure, no explanation, just an overwhelming void. Then, Just when I thought I couldn't bear it any longer, I received a message. "I'm sorry for everything, Lily. I never meant for it to end this way, but I couldn't keep living a lie. I hope you find what you're looking for." It was a brief message, but its impact was profound. James had truly disappeared, both physically and emotionally. I was left standing in a life that no longer made sense. The person I thought I knew had become a stranger. I sat there, staring at the screen, trying to process it all. What had I gained from the so-called freedom? What had I lost in the process? As the days turned into weeks, I slowly began the process of rebuilding my life. The pain of James's departure remained constant, like a shadow that followed me everywhere I went. Yet, through all the turmoil, I learned something vital. I had been searching for freedom, but what I really needed was self-respect. I had allowed myself to become lost in a world full of endless possibilities, only to realize that stability was what I truly craved. The very thing James had taken from me when he disappeared. Now, as I stand here, alone in the quiet of our home, I understand that true freedom doesn't lie in the chaos of open relationships or seeking validation from others. It comes from within, learning to accept and find peace with who you are, no matter where life takes you. Thank you for joining me on this emotional journey of love, loss, and the aftermath of betrayal. If this story resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe and share it with others who may need to hear it. Together, we can continue exploring the complexities of human relationships, ones that challenge us, shape us, and ultimately help us grow. Thanks for watching.